To keep foods fresh and stop harmful bacteria growing within foods, your fridge needs to operate at a cold temperature. Ideally this should be 8 degrees centigrade or below.
In order to check this, you can buy cheap thermometers from a range of supermarkets, the internet and even hardware stores.
Most fridges have internal dials, either at the front of the fridge at the top or on the inside of the fridge. By turning the dial, you can reduce the temperature. The dial doesn't show actual temperatures, it's just an indicator. If you look in your fridge manual, it will tell you which way you need to turn the dial to reduce the temperature.
So this fridge is currently stocked how you shouldn't store food in your fridge at home, and we're going to explain to you why.
So you can see at the top of the fridge here we've got some raw meat. So we've got a raw chicken in the wrapper that it came in from the supermarket. We've got some open, unwrapped sausages. Also on the top shelf you can see there is open packets of cooked ham. There is some salad produce stored underneath, unwrapped, so we've got lettuces and tomatoes, and there's also a block of unwrapped cheese on the second shelf. Raw foods, especially things like raw meat, which carry lots of harmful bacteria, shouldn't be stored next to or above ready-to-eat foods like salad or cooked ham. This is because bacteria from the raw meat can be passed to the products like salad, cheese, ham, that you're not going to cook before you eat them. Therefore, because they're not cooked, any bacteria on those products won't be destroyed before you eat them. Also, there are a number of unwrapped foods in the fridge, so you can see the cheese is unwrapped, the ham is unwrapped, there's a homemade dish of cooked food at the bottom here that's unwrapped. It is best practice to wrap foods up in your fridge once you've opened them. The reason for this is that unwrapped foods firstly dry out, but also by wrapping the food after you've opened it, you reduce the risk of any bacteria from raw foods being transferred onto these cooked foods.
Carrying on from having unwrapped food is another thing that you shouldn't do, is store food in cans which has already been opened. The reason for doing this is that the lining inside the tin can come off, and therefore it reacts with the air and can make the food taste metallic, which isn't very nice. Another thing, and just finally, is that eggs should be stored within a fridge. The reason for this is that due to temperature changes in the home, chemicals and odours can get through the shell of the egg, taint it and make them unpleasant to eat, and sometimes bacteria could get through too. So here we have a fridge which has been properly stocked.
So you can see the raw meat has been placed into a tub to prevent any drips, and it's been put at the bottom of the fridge. The sausages have been wrapped and covered, and again they're at the bottom of the fridge. The reason we want them to keep them at the bottom is so that drips of juice or blood from the meat doesn't drip onto ready-to-eat foods below. Most domestic fridges have salad drawers at the bottom of them. It's okay to keep your salads in these drawers underneath the meat as long as you've got a solid shelf between the meat and the salad. If you don't have a solid shelf, you might be better to actually store your chicken or sausages in the drawers at the bottom and put the salad on the shelf above. Wrapping open foods keeps them fresh and prevents contamination from other foods. So you can see this open packet of ham has been wrapped in cling film. You can also see that foods that have been made at home have been put in containers with lids. The cheese has been also wrapped in cling film.
The other thing that's really important is to rotate your food, so you eat the food that's been in the fridge the longest first. Added to that, you need to regularly check the dates on the food to make sure you're not eating it past its use by date. Everything in here has been checked. With regards to foods that you cook at home, you need to make sure that you keep them for a maximum of 3 days once you've cooked them. So our chilli was cooked 2 days ago, and if we haven't eaten it tonight, it will go in the bin tomorrow. The other thing you need to be aware of is the dates on the food and the recommendations by the manufacturers. Quite often, goods will say on them, used before their use by date or within 2 or 3 days of opening. So check the back, because once you've opened it, you need to use it within 2 days or 3 days. However, the use by date may be after this period of time. The final thing for us is the eggs, and we've put the eggs back in the fridge in their box just here. They'll be fine until they're ready to use. If you want to take them out for baking, because I know that many recipes suggest that eggs are used at room temperature, just bring them out a couple of hours before you need to use them.